Baltic region. Qualifier that was held in Gothenburg at the end of January. Daniel Larsson, a man who has been on the European Tour stage, of course, many times before. And yeah, all nicely sets up. A good opportunity for both players here, I would suspect, Jacques, to go through, and the winner to face Michael Smith in round 2.
Yeah, I think both will fancy their chances. And
57.
Barry, being his first Euro Tour, normally on a Friday afternoon, you'd expect it to be a little bit quieter in the venue. So it's a big venue here, and it's filled up nicely for this holiday weekend. So it'd be interesting to see how Barry reacts to it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It is a larger than normal crowd for a Friday afternoon session. Of course, it's a bank holiday in Germany. It's Saturday, of course. Yesterday was a bank holiday as well. Even if we'd started on the Friday, I think we might have got a good crowd in. But for a Saturday start, we have a bumper crowd in for day one of a European Tour event. And of course, Mondays are never mundane on the European Tour. We don't have them often, but Easter Monday is always very special in Germany as well. So Vampire with the advantage of throwing first.
He's already lost it to Larsson, who's got a good start here.
16.
On the finish after 9. Vampire chasing well.
21.
Done without that last single one, I think.
161.
161 for Larsson.
Well, still, he would fancy his chances of securing a very early break, given Vampire has left himself a testing 145. Not an insurmountable challenge by any stretch, but it is now after that single 19. So Larsson with a good opportunity for the early break of throw.
Yeah, he should have gone maybe for the ball with his last dart. Would have left him 96 at least. Now it's 101. He needs the trouble, but got it. The single leaves him double 16.
85.
Just inside, so maybe a let-off here for Barry Vampire. Is he an 18 double 16 merchant, or more of a 10 and tops from this situation?
He tends to change things up, but normally he goes for the double 16.
Well, he's almost hit double 18, but either way, he's inside for double 8 now for the opener. And Barry Vampire, well, it was a testing opening leg for him. Larsson was certainly in position to make the early move, but Barry Vampire just about getting away with that one. Vampire is one of those players, and there's many of them, 55. In their second year of a 2-year tour card. He came through via the development tour a couple of years ago. I think I'm right in saying that back in 2018 he won his first ever development tour title on his first ever day on the development tour.
It could be, yeah. He's always been really talented, but then got struck with dartitis. It obviously didn't help. We've all seen the footage at the Grand Slam where he played, I think it was Karen Menzies, wasn't it?
And Anderson eventually as well.
Yeah. And it was almost tearful to look at, to be honest. And then, well, he came back, and he's one of the few players, I think, that came back stronger than before.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. When I saw Vampire had qualified for this, my first thought was, Vampire, dartitis. It was the first thing that sprang into my mind. And I thought, do you know what? When it comes to it, I don't really want to dwell too much on that side of things, because I think he's done a lot since then that completely puts all that in the shade, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and he's got such a lovely smooth throw, hasn't he? I mean, there's no stopping in his throw at all. Once he's got that dart correctly in his hand, it's just backwards and forwards in one fluid motion. He's almost like you would think he wouldn't be one of the people you would think would get it.
And I think
he's done with it.
Yeah, and I think also maybe the time on the development tour, that success he had in 2020 was instrumental in helping him move on and take those necessary steps in his career.
32.
He won the first of the 10 development tour events in that year, 2020. But it wasn't really until the final weekend in September of 20 that he really sort of laid the foundations. He reached 4 semi-finals on the spin that weekend, and that was enough to secure 3rd place, which was enough because Ryan Meikle already had a tour card. 84. Missed opportunity for tops there for Vampire. That would have opened up a 2-0 lead. As it is, Larsson looking at double 8 once again.
Game shot, the second leg
with double 8.
But they buried it
Both players
first.
have had their chance to break the opponent. Both of them didn't take it. It's 1-1.
And also the other interesting thing about Berry is the fact that when he was, or in qualifying for this, he beat Andrew Gilding in his first round, and you know, Gilding's had a good year in the main so far. Certainly he's showing improvement in form, and he's asking one or two questions once again. Fairly resurgent player, Gilding, so that was a good win. And Willie Borland still maybe on the crest of a wave after his 9-darter at the World Championship. He too was beaten 6-3.
It's so difficult to predict who's going to qualify for these European events. It's so close to get at the field. You take out the top 16 on the Pro Tour because they're seeded in these Euro Tour events. What you're left with is 112 great players. And there's no picking them because,
absolutely,
especially in the early part of the year where the new tour card holders are basically on zero, so they have no seeding going into those qualifiers.
Yeah. And so they're almost an unknown quantity, and yeah, you can only read too much into it. As for Daniel Larsson, by the way, I mentioned his qualifiers for this were held in Gothenburg at the end of January. He came through 5 matches. He had one tough match against Simon Bach of Denmark, 6-5, but the others, 2 6-0s, a 6-1 and a 6-2. And his opening 6-0 win against Roland Lengren of Sweden, he only had to put in an average of 72 in that one as well. Lengren averaged 53, so that was a bit of a smooth opener for him.
He's one of the absolute top players in the Nordic Larsson. He seems to qualify for a lot of these European events, especially on the qualifiers. He seems very strong.
Yes, he has. He's made a few before, but Van Peer back in front. Nicely done as well. He enjoyed that one, 2-1 the lead.
Yeah, it's the 7th European Tour event Daniel Larsson is playing in.
85.
Yeah, his first, I think, since the German Darts Championship in September of 2020, when we just came back from the lockdown and the world just ever so slowly started to reopen again for us on the PDC Tour. Lost in the first round of that one against Willie O'Connor. A couple of first-round defeats in 2019 as well, one in Prague and one in Riesa. But he did make the 3rd round of the German Darts Open 4 years ago. In fact, it was this weekend 4 years ago, in April. Lost to Max Hopp, who of course went all the way to the title.
A memorable day for German darts that day.
Yeah, and for Max. And Max is here this weekend as well. It'd be great to see him involved later.
16.
I've talked to Max quite a lot recently because he comes to the Netherlands now and then, so we talk to each other quite a lot. And he's looking forward to playing here, actually. He thinks he's got a really good shot here of doing something.
Now that man there has a free day today, Karol Sedlacek, because Krzysztof Ratajski's withdrawal not only means that Gabriel Clemens becomes the number 16 seed, it means that Sedlacek is handed a bye into round 2.
Van Peer going for the 2 treble 19s. He seems to go for the finishes where the first 2 darts can go to the same segment. 1-2-4 for the 2 treble 14s, which you don't see very often.
Yeah, but he's left himself a very orthodox 89. So treble 19, double 16 will be the route here,
89.
with Larsson ready to pounce. But this is a good opportunity for the first break of throw, and Van Peer just taking a moment or two to just size this one up. Always tends to stand fairly close to the left-hand side of the hockey, irrespective. There is the treble 19, double 8 though, however, for the 3-1 lead, and there is the early break. And he's moving in the right direction. Barry Van Peer, 3-1 the lead.
Yeah, this time he got 2 darts to break, and that was just enough. The first time he had a chance to break, he only got 1 dart. So maybe that's where the solution is. Just get 2 darts to break, then you're there. And Larsson started really well in that first leg with the 140s, but scoring seems to go off a little bit now. Van Peer not finding too many double treble visits. Well, as soon as I say that, there's the 140.
That's known as the commentator's curse, Jacques. So yeah, just be wary of that. If ever you find a pattern that's emerging, you can guarantee that the next visit it will just blow it completely out of the water.
Yeah, that's an international thing. I can guarantee you that.
As you saw there from the graphic, there's nothing at all in the averages between the pair of them. But Van Peer is just starting to produce the the key moments at the right time, although this will be a key moment at the right time for Larsson. Just the 140.
No finish for Larsson means 6 darts for Van Peer. Just needs to leave it handy. I think he does.
Yeah, and these fine margins are just beginning to become a little bit more prominent now. That third dart for Larsson making all the difference there.
Yeah, this is where it helps when you start the match on the ball, because you start the odd legs, and now if you win the 5th, you're so far ahead in your mind at 4-1, where it's only one break basically.
It's only one break, yeah. Just about in the 16s there for tops, by the way. Inside for double 10.
46.
And Larsson breathes again here because he's looking at 104.
He could do with this one. He's looking down. So I've got the treble 19, 7 leaves tops, and that's the route he's going.
64.
And it's these key moments, these incremental margins that are really beginning to just have a bit of an impact now. Larsson once again left to reflect on a missed opportunity. Van Peer, though, looking at double 5 now, which is awkward, or can be. That was a very conservative approach with the first one. That was a little bit closer with the second. And that one was slightly further away. That was a very nervy looking visit, I thought, from Van Peer. That first start really told you his mindset there, I thought. You know, he clearly didn't want to miss inside, but overpitched it far too much. Likewise, Larsson.
Bang
On the money, and a little bit of a celebration there from Larsson, because he knows there was a lot of value in that. As I say, it's only one break, but he couldn't really afford to go 4-1 down.
Yeah, if you don't like that double 5, it is a difficult one. I always think you need to attack it with the first dart. If it's inside, go 1 double 2, because outside it usually doesn't really work very well. That's the first one.
Yeah, buoyed by that finish in the previous leg, he's carrying on where he left off. Now then, all of a sudden, it's contagious. No, it's not.
100.
Just the 100 for Van Peer.
Yeah, Larsson had his tour card from 2020 for 2 years, but he's lost it after the World Championship. So basically back on the Nordic and Baltic Tour, and obviously trying to qualify for the European events.
Which, as we were saying, Dan and I earlier, with reference to Sedlacek, is the fact that, you know, if you can keep, or if you can maintain a steady level of visiting these tournaments and qualifying for these tournaments, it can really make a big difference. You get the prize money, it gives you a little bit of financial cushion to work with in terms of the travelling and the arrangements that go with it. And of course it gives you that big stage experience as well, which is, you know, hard to quantify in terms of a price, you know, a financial sum. 41 here, streets ahead, double 16 for Larsson. He could do with a clean finish here, just to reassure himself a little bit more, and that's exactly what he's got.
7th leg, Berry to throw first.
He's scoring a little bit better than Berry in his first 9, but it just seems to me that those missed doubles in the 5th leg are still on Berry's mind. He needs to leave that behind him. And this is a good way of doing it. Just hit a few trebles. Oh, Daniel's been around so long. I remember the first time I've met him. He's been in the Swedish national team for a long time as well, also in the WDF system. I remember it well in 2018 when Sweden became European champions in the team event in the WDF. They were so happy. Daniel was one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always struck me as a really nice kind of guy whenever I've seen him around on the European tour. Only 40 years old as well. You mentioned he's been around for a long time, but yeah, he's still, I mean, he only celebrated his 40th birthday last summer. So he's got plenty of time on his side as well. Van Peer just 25 as well. I mean, he, you know, the next couple of years are big for him, I think. Oh, there we go. Daniel Larsson just suddenly finding a little bit of mojo here.
Second 180 in a short time spell. 101 for Van Peer. Needs the treble 14 and doesn't get it. And now
43.
This is really turning the tables here if Larsson gets this one.
And he may well do. Inside for double 9. Vampire waiting in the wings on 58, but he won't get a chance. That is 3 legs without reply now for Daniel Larsson. It's a 96 checkout. And he's just beginning to build a degree of momentum. It's another break of throw.
Game on!
And look at the body language of Vampire. He doesn't look really happy at the moment. He's still in his mind the double 5.
Something else that sometimes happens when, say for example, if I'm on commentary with Paul Nicholson, he will throw a random question at me and I will throw a random question at him. Don't worry, I think you'll be okay with this one. I was just going to make the point that Vampire has a brother, Carlo, who made up the field at a recent Pro Tour event in Niedenhausen, where they became the 4th set of brothers to compete at a Pro Tour event. Can you name the other 3 brothers or sets of brothers?
Oh, that's a difficult one to do here from the West brothers. That must be one of them.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No. It's a Pro Tour. It's a single Pro Tour event.
Oh, I would have thought they would have done it. I'm going to have a little think about it.
You do that.
The Hybrids brothers.
Hybrids, yeah. 180 on the cards here for Vampire. He could do with it, and that's exactly what he's got. He's not done with just yet. Larsson may have all the momentum, but Vampire looking at 81, and he's got plenty of time on his side as well. Just at some, so Larsson not down to a finish. So 6 starts here for Vampire. He'd look to do it in 2. He won't do it in 2.
Double 8.
But he might do it in 3. Yeah. And there it is. 81 checkout. My word, he will feel a lot better about things now after that one. Just when it looks as though Larsson was building up this head of steam, Vampire has just produced a little something special, and it's just something to work with. Just gives him a little bit of a platform, and here we go again. 180, 6 perfect darts in many respects.
And this is his strength lies. Once he's got that treble in his eyes, basically, then he can do some damage. He is one of them players that can do 12 dot, 12 dot in a row.
And this is where he can undo all the hard work. Kicks off with a 1080 and fails to find the treble. But Larsson's struggling for trebles at the moment. There's one, much needed as well.
I'm struggling on both.
He's still struggling.
I'm still struggling. Which country are they from? Maybe that helps me.
Well, that will help.
That will help too much?
One of them borders Germany.
Borders Germany.
I know Germany borders 9 countries, but
Yeah, exactly.
to the south.
In the south.
98.
Ah, the Rodriguez brothers.
Rodriguez brothers won, Roby John
I
and
should have
Rusty
known
Rick,
that one, yeah, I'll be
Rusty
honest.
Jakey, Kim and Ronnie Hybrex, and the others.
89.
Could be Dutch, but
No, they're
no?
English.
English, all right.
And I think one of them was a European Tour champion as well.
Ooh.
I'll just quickly check that. Yeah, one of them was a European Tour champion in 2013 and beat Paul Nicholson in the final. Paul, if you're listening, you'll know this.
Newton.
Where's Newton and Dale Newton?
Dale played. Oh, right. I would not have guessed that. I knew Dale played in the World Championship once, but I would
63.
not have remembered that.
And you will require
That
108.
is a good quiz question.
Well,
I
here
like
we
him.
This leg is in the balance. This match is in the balance. It's on a knife edge actually here. Larsson had the opportunity with 108, and he's thrown in a flat turn to leave double 4.
72.
Berry Vampire, though, looking at 72. Now, double 18, or treble 12? Is he going to go?
Treble 16, I think.
Yeah, you know him too well. And that's
Game
why.
shot in the 9th leg.
That is right. That was beautifully done by Berry Vampire. The 81 checkout was stylish. The 72 checkout was a bit more ruthless. And you called it all the way, Jacques. It's 5-4 in favour.
Yeah, in the Netherlands we call a big man's
100.
finish. Between 60 and 90, and you need to get it. If you do, you're a big man.
And he could be feeling 9 foot tall if this one goes. 140 may well be enough. And already Vampire may well be thinking about the break of throw, because there's a loose start from Larsson, and there's a second. And effectively Vampire's got the darts already in this one.
It's going left to right, this one. First 4 legs all the way Van Peer. Should have been 4-1 up. And then it went Larsson's way, and now Van Peer again. I love these kinds of matches because they can go back one more time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if this one were to go to an 11th leg. But Van Peer will be hoping to seal the deal here and now.
91.
Larsson needs to get to a finish, needs some trebles. He really needs more than 1 treble. But he won't get them.
55.
So it's Van Peer's to win. 6 darts for 170.
Yeah, a little grimace after that first dart, way off beam.
44.
Well, when you're in that position, you want to send out a little bit of a message or maybe make a bit of a statement, and I don't think he's done that with 44 there. Larsson, all of a sudden, a 180 here. He's again slipped into that single 5.
85.
And again, that could have been a lot better after that first dart. I think his eyes lit up after that first dart went in, but he lost his way once again.
This is Van Peer for the match. 2 treble 19s, leaves double 6. If he gets 1, it leaves the ball.
And he has got the bullseye. He's got the opportunity, and it's a 1-2-6 checkout. 81-72. And a nice little way to sign off.
Come here. It has been a long time coming, this, hasn't it? Playing on the European Tour.
It's been over 5 or 6 years that I make my debut. And what a better way to start it with a win, eh?
And what a game it was. Middle of that game, you were both going berserk. 12 darters all over the place.
Yeah, at some point I missed a few doubles. I was like, I have to get back on my game, and I feel like I'm going to be okay, but he just went like 12. I'm like, oh my God, here we go again, you know, and approach is the same shit. Stuff. Like, oh my God.
Let's pretend that didn't happen, Barry. Last question. This sort of thing, playing on a stage in front of this amount of fans, this has been a rare experience for you in recent years. This has got to be something to work towards doing a lot more regularly, right?
Yeah, on the UK Open, I played on main stage, and there was no crowd because of COVID. And I was like, I'm on main stage, and I was like, wait, there's no crowd, so it doesn't feel like it's a real stage. And now finally in this crowd, and they've been amazing. So I really appreciate all the support, and I finally played my game on the stage as well, so can only get better, right?
You have shown them what you can do. Ladies and gentlemen, Bionic Barry Van Peer through to tomorrow's action. Game 3 coming up.